So I've been looking around for things to talk about, issues within the gaming world, what's hot, what's not, and I came across some rumblings of Aloy from Horizon Forbidden West looking like she put on a few pounds, and some gamers are upset that she doesn't look like she did in the first game. And I thought to myself, whenever I'm in a post apocalyptic world and civilization has been decimated to the point of near extinction, centuries have passed, machines have taken over and copied animals that used to exist years ago and even they're extinct, why isn't there a Maybelline or a pharmacy that I can go to pick up some rouge or some lipstick or some conditioner? Because it just doesn't make sense. Then I saw the comparison between Abby from The Last of Us 2 and the fact that there couldn't possibly be enough protein in that world. Zombies, post-apocalyptic, people fighting for survival and resources. Where is she getting all the protein to be able to put on that much muscle? That's completely unrealistic. And then those same people are upset that Aloy, in a world overrun by robotic dinosaurs, can't find makeup or join a Zumba class once or twice a week. Now, I don't know about you, but when I watched the trailer for the video game, the video game, not real life, not real people. Aloy isn't a real woman, neither is Abby. The last thing I thought of was that Aloy was somehow out of shape. I watched her sprint through a jungle, jump over trees, under trees, over trees, parkour, jump down from about 12 feet and roll out of the jump into the run, climb, shimmy, and dive into the water. So the idea that somehow she's quote unquote out of shape or put on a few pounds not only is ridiculous because she's not a real person, it's a video game, but just from the sheer fact of what the hell is going on with people? How is that an issue? And I get some people think that there's some sort of ulterior motive behind changing the way characters look in films and movies. I understand that, and I do think in some sense that is happening with some people, some studios, some films. But I don't think this is the issue here. Aloy is not going to have makeup on. She's going to look different because in the first Horizon Zero Dawn, she was around 18 or 19 years old. And in this one, it's a few years later, so maybe she's in her early to mid-20s. You do change a bit. Your face does change a little bit. But the idea that she's somehow fat, I've never seen someone fat run from robotic dinosaurs. Shimmy, climb, jump, dive, fight. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Also, the world that she's in, these people have to work hard every day to survive. You would imagine finding food, foraging for resources. So it's not an easy life. It's not as if she can go to the 7-Eleven, get a Slurpee and a Slim Jim, and then sit around all day playing video games like a lot of the people who are complaining about the way she looks. So I thought it was incredibly ridiculous when I saw these things and these articles popping up when I'm searching for like actual news about the game, excitement around the game. I'm seeing things about, again, Aloy putting on a few pounds, or some sort of political stance on the way that Aloy looks now. And I just don't see it in this game. I certainly don't see it. I mean, Abby, they compare Abby. If you played The Last of Us 2, she goes to a stadium. They're all living in a football stadium, right? There's an actual complete gym in the football stadium. And you'd imagine in a stadium dedicated to a team like any city has, there's going to be a few pharmaceuticals laying around for those sports, for those athletes to perform at top levels. But if you follow her down that level while she's walking through the stadium, Before she goes out on patrol, she gets a beef and bean burrito, and right next to that little area where she gets that at, there's deer, there's elk, there's bison hanging up. So her entire diet is probably made up of nothing but meat. Now, that's not to say that if she trains really hard, she's going to put that much muscle on. But look, it was to show you how dedicated she was to killing Joel. She was so driven to get her hands around Joel that she wanted to make sure that any disadvantage she might have was gone. So she dedicated herself to training. She even mentions in the game that she just got up 185 pounds, and that's when she's a bit younger with her boyfriend walking through the aquarium. 185 pounds bench press for a female is pretty heavy, and at that age, if she was getting it later on in the game, she'd probably up into the 200 range, which is incredibly heavy for a female and a male. So the idea that these games aren't quote-unquote realistic, you can't pick and choose what's realistic and then say a woman 1,000 generations from now, when the entire earth has been decimated by machines, can't get some L'Oreal lip gloss or some rouge or whatever else to make herself look more appealing, because realistically she's probably not worried about that. So it's kind of crazy that you even have to make videos like this or address things like this, because we're talking about video games and these aren't real people. Sometimes we bring real issues into these games, and that kind of bogs down what the game is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about escapism and enjoyment, connecting with the character, and you can still do that if a character doesn't look like a supermodel. So I wasn't sure what to discuss when it came to this, or even if I wanted to, but sometimes you just have things that you want to talk about revolving around games. I'd rather talk about games and things I'm excited about, but this was just crazy because she looks fine to me, right? And I'm replaying The Last of Us 2, and while I disagree strongly with a lot of the themes and the story in this game, Last of Us 2, I can understand how Abby could be so driven by hate to train herself to that point just to get her hands around Joel, which is kind of strange because when she does, she doesn't even use her hands. She just beats him to death with a golf club. But, a 185-pound female that's, pretty buff, swinging a golf club, it's probably going to do a lot of damage. So I think thinking about this stuff too much ruins the experience. So I get realism, I get story and continuity. I'm not saying story should make so much, they should be just ridiculous and not make any sense at all. But I don't think this is a big deal. This is WorryWart with WorryWartGaming. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, share out on your favorite social media platform of choice, and I will see you in the next video.